Peace, 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 right? And so, I mean, we're going to finish up the 100-year increments because um, you look at the physical composition and it's a manifestation of 120. Because if you cross reference that with the ancient books, um, and I look at biology and the physical composition, I would say that you come out the womb with about 120, maybe 122 years that physical composition can make knowledge born, right? And from there, right? Hold on, because we doing the 100-year increments, right? Right. So we looking at those 100-year increments. That's why I said 100. But from the opening, you getting anywhere from 100, 120, 122 opening from the opening. If everything is right and exact, because the physical composition is going to grab the best part of each physical mother and father, and it's going to give that to the baby. And then even if the mother doesn't eat right and exact, it's still going to grab what it needs from her body. It'll take it from her and give it to that baby, right? That's what the physical bodies are going to do. And then when the baby come out, you know, uh, even if they didn't breastfeed or whatever the case may be, right? That's at the worst level. So I'm saying though that we're looking at plant-based diet father, so his sperm is right and exact. Plant-based diet mother, her egg is right and exact. Right. So you have the air particles in a clot of blood attach itself to the uterus wall. So he or her, he who is God, she who is earth, the women plan to bring about the gods in earth and teach them at birth. And so we do this manifestation as soon as air particles in a clot of blood attach itself to the uterus wall. We start the manifestation of birth because you just hit the physical plane of existence. Takes you 9 months to form a physical body around you the same way we did when we were in the gaseous state. Form the gas around us to manifest ourselves in the triple darkness. They don't understand that manifestation because that mindset, uh, we don't have that now. We're so many millennia away from that we have the great amnesia. You have the great amnesia because you can't trace nothing back beside historically or anthropologically excavation sites, but you don't have the direct line 50,000 years ago. So what was our people doing? But we know we were here because we could see the site. That's why I said the association. It merges itself. Right. It merges itself because it's like a thermometer talking about from cold to hot, freezing and to boiling, right? And so where's the merger at? That's how it merges in like that. That's how you see it. The math, the alphabet, the 12 Jews, the 120. Once you uh, absorb it all and you at the quotation level, it's becomes one with you. Now the merging, the seeing it in one big giant picture, the noticing the pins and the tumors and the lipomas and the tags in the physical mind. You see them. You see those cancers in there. You know you have to fast them out. Starve them out. This is why inside the manifestation it gives you the new diet so that you're able to get the devil off your planet Your planet is your physical composition, like I said. So we go back to that 100-year cycle thing, right? I don't want to get too far away from that cipher. What I was talking about is you getting 120 and you whittling it down, right? Because them first 20 is pretty much a given for the growth. Bow. You physically growing, some say till 21, the 3 sevens, right? And then longer or shorter, depending on uh, the physical composition, spurts and this and that and right? So you can do the scientific research because we already got plenty of people on Earth, and you already know their height. You could just use DMV if you wanted to. Statistics that they, or you could go to blackstatistics.com. They got all the good shit for you right in there. You can go in there and look yourself and see if you want to cross reference. When you cross referencing what is being told to you in the world of knowledge of self, only reason why I say it is because I pick knowledge of self because I know if you got it from somebody who has knowledge of self, they did their research because they have to answer to the other knowledge of self people who going to look at what they say and pick it apart or agree with it. Right? That's how it works. The truth doesn't need you to help it. It could just stand there, and then you have to see if you could pick that truth apart. That's how you'll know. Uh, it's not subjective as the Matrix tries to show you and all that, keep you confused and not dealing with specifics. Like, if you keep moving the way the Matrix wants you to move, it only works as long as this particular type of Matrix government is in place. That's why I said for you to really see that it's an illusion, a lot of that shit is an illusion and it's not real. Those are things that you might want to do behind closed doors and all of that world that is a closed door world. My business. That now people are taking my business and putting it in the street. They're going, this is my business and I want everybody to know this how I'm living. Okay. When the degree said reveal and not conceal, that had nothing to do with your business. That has something to do with the truth and the lesson, the degree. We're not going to hide like the European did. We're not going to hide from our people who the original man is. See, that's the whole argument. Who is the original man? See, that's where it gets down to. So, if you look in the ancient books, they always go when they talk that way. In the ancient world, their language is much more precise. So, in the cipher of saying who is the original man, it automatically includes man, woman, child. That's just part of the cipher. That's man. Or if man is in the picture and he is right and exact, hell, if he ain't right and exact, he still be wanting man, woman, child, even when he's not right and exact. It's part of his nature to want man, woman, child. That's just how he is. And the more successful he is in whatever the environment that he is in and whatever the timeline he is in, the more that the wisdom myself divine type of master attaches herself to that. So she could be in a position of tranquility while raising the children and not having to worry about getting the food But she just has to worry about preparing it. She doesn't have to worry about protecting the family uh, from animals and people. She just has to protect the family with digestion and rest and cleaning and keeping the microbiome and all of that right and exact. She keeps that cipher that he creates around the perimeter. And so he gets with his brothers and they put their perimeters together. They still have their circles, but the circles overlap. That's how it's made. That's how knowledge is made, born. But in the wilderness in North America, sometimes the European colonizer, not see when they say the European colonizer, your mind goes to where your brain is at, and you think who you think I'm talking about when I say the European. The European. If I just say the European, once I tell you put there that when I show you it's the colonizer. The colonizer is doing that. And they started out with their nobles and now they're governments. But it's still the colonizer doing it. And whatever he has to do as the colonizer to get his people to do what he wants them to do, he does. And over time, he's keeping good records, two sets, the ones for the people and the ones for the nobles. He got two sets. Right? And by having two sets, he could give them the false information that's strangely mixed. Truth and false are strangely mixed. And the lower level nobles can get. See, he'll give to the regular people the falsehood and truth strangely mixed. Listen to me now. And he'll give to the low level nobles the truth and falsehood strangely mixed. And then he'll give to the high level nobles a really what happened. That's why they like to talk Latin in law and they talk Latin in medicine. That's where they talking that. And when they're going with translating it from the Greek. Because that's the foundation to their writing and things of that nature. But that's not our foundation, that's theirs. So their numbers are skewed when you're talking about their rule. The rulership is to give you the idea of the completeness of it and how it's the end of it. There's a beginning. When is the beginning? Well, the cusp is the Yaku, but actually the cusp goes all the way back, to Yakub and flips all the way till they leave Pelon, right? That's that cusp. But prior to that cusp, you had the 30% 30% dissatisfied and the 70% satisfied. And was there ever a time when we were at 100% satisfied? Does that saying go 70 and 30? Does that also go when he said they were in the heavens? When it was Andromeda and those different galaxies, when it was there, when everything was making knowledge born from that level. So what about before that, when the lessons say it went on into the gaseous state? You see, so if you keep traveling back, why would you want to separate yourself foundation of yourself is the lamb's wool. And within the lamb's wool is, in these modern world, it would be black, brown, red, yellow, white. We would be inside. We would have all of that in us, right from the gate. Like it would be something they would be black people, but we would be saying to them, white boy, right? We had them in our group already, right? But they wasn't really white people. White people knew they wasn't white people. We just called them white boys because they looked like they was white people, but they wasn't white people. And it was right inside of the family cipher, right there, Rao, right? And you look across the pictures, and you'll see them. Go look at the ancient people all the way up. If you just look at the ones in from 1555 to 1865, just go from Alaska to Chile and look at 1555 to 1865. Those whatever they got, those papers and whatever you got from those, and from there you could go to the excavation sites and you'll start saying to yourself, "Yeah, we get about 120 years on the planet Earth, right?" Some motherfuckers got those two in there, but that could be give or take a few. But anywhere near that, you know it's about over. If you could get that much out the bag. Um, so that way you have a perspective of what's going on. Because if you be moving around like it ain't never going to stop, no, and you don't want it to move and stop. You see, this is what you don't want to happen. See, you don't want the last. See, the first normally. I don't know about today's diet, but in the old days when mommy and daddy cooked food and the children ate at home and like that. And their first 60 was pretty much guaranteed. And then if they didn't do right in the 30 to the 60, then they was on medicine in their 60s, and then whatever went down, however long that lasted in there. And but quality of life. See, I'm not saying you 120 gonna make you be 150, but you gonna get to be 200 out of your physical composition. I don't know, man. I just don't think that's likely. I just don't think that's likely. Hey, I'm voting for you. Personally, hey, I'm with you. If you do it, World Book Guinness, book it, you gonna get paid like, send that shit, trust fund, all that. Make it grow. But anyway, you know, that's looking at a law at 360. I remember that degree. That's what I was saying to the guard. I was like, he told you what, a law didn't have no lesson. He left all the lessons. He didn't bring no lessons or whatever. Something happened where we didn't get no lessons. Where you think all those plus lessons came from that we got? If we didn't, if he didn't give them to us, and like that, how you think we got them? We didn't have no knowledge of that. Even us who had read Messages of Black Men and uh, Our Savior Has Arrived, and we read that, right? We didn't. We didn't know 120. We didn't know those plus lessons. We didn't know. We had like congregation information. We was more like a congregation information. You didn't even know that you were supposed to quote the degrees when you had some kind of access to uh, knowledge of self lessons. It's not like the lessons will be any different than the other person's lessons who might have knowledge of self, and they'll be in their knowledge of self group. And but when you at the level where you showing and proving things you have is gonna merge across because you're gonna gather cross. You're gonna cross reference information. Like, how did we know Asiatic? Well, first thing we noticed is that when they were saying Asiatic, right? Uh, we didn't even look at it that way until people start trying to disrespect that word, saying he made it up. Oh, that's some made up shit. See, you shouldn't say stuff like that and show your ignorance. Now people who know go, oh, I didn't know they didn't know that that word is old. Even on the standard of when did, yeah, that's old. That's an old word. That's not a new word. And it's not a new word meaning how. If you go to the actual degree and look at it in the ancient text, it actually means matter, just like Asiatic would matter. It would fit to the physical composition. Asiatic, the earth. The attic was the mind. Just like if you was in the house, you have an attic, you have a foundation. You see, it correlates. And so the Asiatic black man, that's what the lesson said, the Asiatic black man. So because the original man in the wilderness of North America, you gotta make it clear so he can catch it. What's going on? Because uh Elijah came from, he said, one from among us. I need to be one from among you, as WD said to him. He said it to us, and we, right? So, one from among us. And you're not getting attacked. Um, if all of us had what they call fair skin and straight hair, then they wouldn't be able to attack us that way. But that's not the reality. The reality is we go from lamb wool, very powerful and closed fist, to lamb wool, powerful but open hand. That's how you got to look at the hair. And they'll tell you, oh, that's a grade. And no. The DNA and the carbon and everything is exactly the same. It's just some is in a fist and others as is gradually letting go, letting loose. And that's within the, for lack of a better word, I want you to bear with me, the heavy people, right? Um, we're going to use the known numbers. We're just going to use those black, brown, red, yellow, white. That way we can use thumb, pointing finger. Now we used to say our pointer finger, index, the middle finger, ring finger, and the pinky, right? We're going to roll it that way. So the foundation will be your thumb. So you can see. Now, if you look at that 5, you'll also see 72 in that, right? You'll see it sitting right there in your face. You'll see a pentagram. You can see a lot in that hand, right? And if you go to the small bones in the head, you'll see what I'm talking about also. As versus when it's closed as when it's open. Now, they tell you that, oh, it's not as powerful open as it is closed. That's a play on words. That might not be totally true. Of course, you can get hit with a fist and it can hurt depending on whose fist it is. But everybody's open hand can do damage depending on their weight and in class. That's why you don't see somebody 147 fighting somebody 247 in the ring, and if it's a fair fight, Of course, in the old days, the equilibrium would have to be in play because, like I said, Asiatic is an old word. It comes from way back when the quabbalistic tree of life was everybody's trying to hide that science and. When they really saying that, they mean the Europeans was trying to hide it from the other Europeans. That's really what it is. Because we didn't have that on our side. Hiding shit. That was them hiding shit. Just like they was hiding food and hiding this and hiding that. And some of them act like the Lannisters and they want to get the gold, and the other ones might have liked it up there in the north, and they just wanted to be left alone and be the northern tribes. Same thing. It's just giving you the shit how it really is and what's really going on without letting you see it because it's the truth and falsehood strangely mixed. You can see the truth if you have the knowledge of your what self. And so then you come to the realization that, yeah, we get about 120 on this marker. First 20 don't really count because that's you growing up. Now, so that means we got to get shit done in the next C node, right? Got to get shit done, live, make sure, make sure you drop this, make sure you have some kind of add on to this manifestation showing and proving, right? You want to do that. That's what we do. You didn't pass this forward. You're not going to when you get it. I mean, I don't know. That's what you got to deal with that. So now that we got past that, we know we only got a C note. That we know why the Father was giving us. We want you to get this trade or profession off the gate. We want you. That's why he was going to the babies, like get the math, get the alphabet, because you need math. You need math, and you need alphabet to function in the world. If you can't add up and subtract, then you ain't, and you can't read and write and speak. You don't know the language of the place where you're at. That could be a problem. You're not gonna go in if you're talking to mechanics. They talk about engines, and you talking to plumbers. They talk about pipes and how you pause and how you move water one way or another, right? So you have carpenters like Esau. Um, you have carpenters, and you have these kind of trades or professions. See, that's the remedy. So you want a trade, you want a profession. This will elevate you. That's where you aiming at. Um, any trade or profession, you can say, "Well, I need a trade or profession right now. I need something." Man, what's going on right now is, to my recollect, I would say, can you get a class in those AI bots? Can you do something with that? That's got a lot of employment in it. Can you do any kind of computer skills that have any of that computer world for the new young people? I mean, just home use is one thing for people who've already been on the planet for a minute, but the AI is the new thing, G. I'm telling you, catch up with that. Start going into that AI world. Step your game up into reading more. But make sure you're gonna have to do two and three things at one time if you got this late. If you got this and you're already a grown man, if you got this and you're already a grown man, then you're gonna have to do two, three things at the same time. But you can do it. You're just gonna have to multitask. You're going to get this on cap because you want to change the convolutions on your brain. You got the supreme dietary law. You ready? You could do that. That's going to help you go to the next level. Boom, boom, boom with the quickness. It's going to also pull you away from a lot of bullshit. You won't be some places when they had that problem over there at Popeyes and somebody got shot. Now, you know, when they was doing the lines and all that, you wouldn't have, they said, oh, the guard would have never got caught up in that because he wouldn't have even been there. Why? Because he don't do no Popeyes. That's fast food. He don't do fast food. See? Because it's processed, which means it has chemicals in it. Which means if you read and remember he said, God said that Allah had told him, um, don't eat no pork, or you still eating pork, or don't eat pork. And he was saying, I don't eat pork, but he figured out that he didn't read labels. So I'm not telling the whole story exactly how it is, but at the end of the day, he didn't read labels. And so the point I'm making is, it's in these modern days, it, you still got to read them labels if you're trying to figure out what's going down. Of course, when you go to the next level, you're going to go, whoa, shouldn't even been eaten in there at all. If you use certain rules and regulations are there so that you could take it to the next level. You can't take it to the same level you want to take it to if you keep the same, I want to say, level where you at. If you don't move up, like you moving with 120, you got to move up with the food with it, and you got to move up with trade and profession, and you have to move up with economics. If you're the dude, well, if you're a girl nowadays, you got to get your economics on because this world is twisted. So everybody got to come up with their dough. So even if you her, you got to come up with your dough because it's probably gonna need both of y'all. If y'all gonna really work together, that's how you know some shit go down. Just if if the other side, if something happens and it goes down, and the other side can't do what it got to do because it's broke down, and the other side abandons it before it even got broke down, it's a ruse. The guard said it was a ruse. It was just 4 months, but he was acting like I was down for a year, but it was just a ruse. And you let that get you, and so now I know where you really at, right? I'm just for convenience. I'm not really who you want to fuck with. You just couldn't get who you really wanted, so you settled for me. And so when you realize that don't mean nothing to you, it's not who they really wanted to be with that motherfucker, whoever it was, but that motherfucker didn't want to be with them. It'd be like that. And so that's how the world is moving today, but you need to be able to make sure your shit is right and exact at all times, because if you're the dude in this manifestation, you don't have no fallback. The government and all of them are going to help them more than they're going to help you. They're not really going to help you. They really want to leave you without any help. To them, that's even better. He didn't get any help. I did his ass in. They glad if they did you and you thought CONTELPRO left. It just changed its name. It didn't go away. Right? They didn't say, oh, J. Edgar Hoover, that shit he did wasn't even right and exact. We gonna say it's not gonna be the name of the building ain't gonna be after that motherfucker. That's not what they said. They said we love him. He was right and exact. He was trying to make sure that that the United States stays the United States of America. See, that's what I kept saying about when they was saying passport this and passport that. And I was saying to myself, that should make you look at your passport. If you look at it, right, you'll know if you really know what a what a nationality is. That's how you gonna figure it out. You ain't gonna know what your nationality is if you ain't got that passport down tight. You ain't. So with that, I'm gonna say peace, divine understanding, born the light. Now we do it, set the record straight, and I'm out.